The blade was already kissing my throat, cold, razor-thin, humming with that faint electromagnetic whine the Valanthi loves so much. When she spoke, Aurora, one word, soft, almost tender, and the entire throne room on Zavaron stopped breathing. The executioner's arm locked mid-swing. Guards froze in their polished black armor. 300 nobles, diplomats, and high admirals stood like statues carved from amethyst and obsidian. Even the floating crystal chandeliers seemed to dim for a heartbeat. I didn't dare swallow. Blood from the gash above my eye kept dripping onto the flawless black floor. Plink, plink, like a metronome counting down to nothing. Empress Elise Vane rose from her throne. She was taller than any human I'd ever seen. Easily 7 feet, skin the color of pale twilight, eyes molten gold with no pupils to break the stare. Her ceremonial armor shifted like living mercury as she descended the steps. Each movement deliberate, unhurried, the walk of someone who had never once been afraid of time. She stopped 3 paces from me, close enough that I could smell the faint metallic ozone that always clung to her kind. "You are the one they call the ghost of the Outer Rim?" Her voice carried through the hall without effort, clear and low, like wind through crystal spires. I met those golden eyes. No point in lying now. "Jake Reed," I said. My voice sounded rough after weeks in a holding cell. "And yeah, that's me." A ripple of murmurs spread through the court. Someone, probably one of the older lords, hissed something about human filth. Elise raised one long, elegant hand. Silence fell harder than any order she could have shouted. She studied me the way someone might study a weapon they'd only read about in forbidden texts. "You destroyed 7 fortified relay stations. You broke open 4 labor camps and walked out with 43,000 of your people. You killed 2 fleet admirals and vanished before the debris stopped burning." She tilted her head slightly. "All with fewer than 200 fighters at your strongest." 209, I corrected quietly. "We lost people." Another murmur. This one sounded almost respectful. She stepped closer. The tip of her boot nearly touched the blood pooling under my knee. "Why?" she asked. I almost laughed. After everything, that was the question? "Because someone had to," I said. "Your empire was eating us alive. Someone had to bite back." For the first time, something flickered in those unreadable golden eyes. Not anger, not pity, recognition. She turned to the executioner. "Lower your blade." He obeyed instantly. Then she looked back at me, really looked, and spoke the words no one in that hall expected. "Stand, Jake Reed." I would speak with the only being in 3 centuries who has ever truly frightened me. Magnetic cuffs clicked open behind my back. I rose slowly, legs screaming, one eye already swelling shut. The court watched in stunned silence as the Empress of Zavaron offered her hand, not palm up in their binding oath gesture, but open, ordinary, almost human. I didn't take it. Not yet. But I stood straighter. And somewhere deep inside, I realized the story wasn't over. It was just beginning. I stood there in the throne room of Zavaron, legs trembling from hours on my knees, blood crusting on my face, and the empress of an empire that had devoured half my species was looking at me like I was the answer to a question she'd been asking for decades. She didn't sit back down. Instead, she paced slowly in front of me, 7 feet of twilight skin and mercury armor, while the court held its collective breath. Then she spoke again, and everything shifted. 40 years ago, she said, voice carrying to every crystalline pillar. I stood exactly where you stand now, kneeling, bound, waiting for the blade. A ripple of shock rolled through the nobles. Eyes widened. Several younger ones actually gasped. This clearly wasn't in the official histories. My father was emperor then, she continued. I believed he was weak. I believed our expansion had slowed because he lacked the stomach for true dominion. So I gathered 3 legions, loyal only to me, and marched on this very palace. She stopped pacing, turned to face me fully. I failed. My forces were broken in the outer rings. I was dragged here in chains. I knelt on this same obsidian floor and waited for my own father to give the order. Lord Cain Roth, tall, scarred, eyes like chipped onyx, stepped forward, voice tight with outrage. Your Radiance, this is... Be silent, Cain, she said without looking at him. He froze. The entire court did. She continued, eyes never leaving mine. My father did not kill me. He gave me a choice. die here as a traitor or live as his heir, but only if I could prove I had learned the lesson my rebellion taught him. She let the silence stretch. I had mistaken cruelty for strength, domination for wisdom. I thought ruling meant breaking every spine that dared bend against me. It took me 20 years of watching, listening, ruling in his shadow before I understood. Her golden gaze bored into me. The greatest power is not in destroying every enemy. It is in knowing which ones must be ended and which ones must be raised up. A low murmur started again. Disbelief, fear, fascination. She raised her hand once more. Silence returned instantly. "Jake Reed," she said, and the sound of my name in her mouth felt strangely intimate. "You did what I could not. You took a handful of ships, a few hundred desperate fighters, and you carved wounds into the heart of my empire. Not for glory, not for a throne, but because you believed your people deserved to breathe free." She stepped closer, close enough that I could see the faint silver veins beneath her skin pulse with whatever passed for a heartbeat in her kind. "You succeeded where I failed, and you did it for justice." I didn't know what to say. My mouth was dry, my mind racing. She studied me another long moment. Then she spoke the words that changed everything. "I offer you not death, Jake Reed, but a place beside me. A voice on my high council for all matters concerning human worlds. Full legal protection for every human within our borders. And the opportunity to show my people that humanity is not the primitive infestation we have pretended it to be." The court erupted. Shouts. Accusations. One noble actually drew a ceremonial blade before guards restrained him. Elise ignored them all. She looked straight at me. "I am afraid of you," she said quietly, so quietly only I could hear. "I have not known fear in a very long time. You terrify me because you remind me of the girl who once knelt here, and because you are proof that I have been wrong about so many things." She extended her hand again. "Open. Waiting. Not an oath," she said. "Not yet. Just the beginning." I stared at that hand. Long fingers, pale violet skin, steady as stone. Behind me, the empire that had burned my home, killed my family, enslaved my people. In front of me, the woman who ruled it all. And she was offering me a chance to change it. I reached out. Our palms met. Her skin was cool, almost cold, but her grip was firm. And in that moment, something unbreakable passed between us. The court was still shouting. But for the first time in 8 years of war, I didn't feel like I was falling. I felt like I was finally standing on solid ground. If you've watched this far, then this story is really interesting to you. Please confirm it by clicking like under this video. It doesn't cost you anything, but it will help me understand what story to publish for you next. Let's move on. I took her hand. The moment our palms met, a faint vibration ran through me. Not magic, not technology, just the raw shock of touching the woman who ruled the stars that had crushed my world. Her skin was cool, smooth as polished stone, yet it carried the warmth of someone who had finally stopped pretending to be unbreakable. The court exploded again. Shouts overlapped into a roar. "Treason! Human filth! She has lost her mind!" Lord Cain Roth's face twisted into something feral. His hand twitched toward the blade at his hip before 2 guards seized his arms. Elise didn't flinch. She held my gaze, golden eyes steady, and spoke only loud enough for me to hear over the chaos. "This is no gift of mercy, Jake Reed. This is necessity. You terrify me because you are proof my empire can be wounded. And if it can be wounded by one man with 200 fighters, it can be healed by the same man standing at my side." She released my hand slowly. Then she turned to face her court, voice rising like thunder wrapped in silk. Silence. The hall obeyed. Instant. Absolute. Jake Reed will join the High Council. He will speak for every human world under our banner. He will have veto on matters concerning human lives, labor, and culture. Any who harm a human under imperial protection will answer to me personally, and to him. Gasps. A noble woman in the front row actually swayed. "And let it be known," Elise continued, "that I fear this man, not as an enemy, as a mirror. He has shown me what I refuse to see, that strength without choice is merely tyranny wearing a crown." She looked back at me. "Accept this, and you will have quarters befitting a counselor. Protection, resources, a voice that will be heard. Refuse, and the blade finishes what it began." I felt every eye in the room boring into me. Some hated, some feared. A few, very few, looked curious. I thought of the camps I'd broken open, The children I'd carried out of burning domes. The nights I'd lain awake counting the dead I'd caused on both sides. Then I thought of the exhaustion in her eyes. The same exhaustion I saw in every mirror. I accept, I said. The words felt heavier than any weapon I'd ever carried. Elise nodded once. Take him to the Eastern Wing. See that he is treated as one of us. Guards moved to escort me. Not in chains. Not roughly. Almost reverently. As they led me away, I glanced back. She was still standing in the center of the chaos she had just unleashed, shoulders squared, face calm. But her eyes followed me, and in them I saw something I hadn't expected. Relief. The Eastern Wing was absurdly large. Rooms bigger than my childhood colony's entire mess hall. A bed that could have fit 6 people. Windows overlooking the spires of Zavaron's capital, lights pulsing like distant nebulae. I didn't sleep that first night. Every creak was an assassin. Every shadow held a blade. I sat with my back to the wall, a stolen dinner knife clutched in my fist, waiting for the poison, the sniper, the garrote. None came. On the 3rd day, a servant brought a message sealed with her personal crest, a stylized aurora borealis in silver. Council session tomorrow. Where what is provided. Do not be late. The clothing they sent was simple, dark tunic, trousers, boots, but cut from fabric that shimmered faintly under light. No armor. No rank insignia. Just human, yet somehow imperial. I looked at myself in the mirror. The man staring back had scars, stubble, one eye still bruised purple. But he was standing in the heart of the empire he'd spent 8 years trying to bleed dry. And tomorrow he would sit at the same table as the people who ordered the burning of his home. I exhaled slowly. This wasn't surrender. This was infiltration at the highest level. Or maybe, just maybe, something more dangerous. Hope. The first council session felt like walking into a den of vipers wearing nothing but hope. They seated me at the far end of the obsidian table, symbolic distance, I suppose, but close enough that every golden eye could bore holes through me. Elise sat at the head, regal and unreadable. The nobles were arrayed like statues. Lord Cain Roth glaring daggers, Lady Viral with her perpetual half-smile that never reached her eyes, Admiral Torin whose hand never strayed far from his sidearm. The agenda started innocently enough. Trade routes, resource allocations, border skirmishes in the neutral zones. Then it came to human labor camps. A minor functionary presented the quarterly report, productivity up 14%, escapes down 62%, re-education compliance at 89%. I waited for someone to speak. No one did. So I did. Those numbers, I said, voice steady despite the pounding in my chest, mean 43,000 people are still chained in tunnels mining crystals they'll never own. Re-education compliance means we've broken enough of them that they stop screaming. That isn't success. That's a crime. Silence thicker than vacuum. Lord Roth leaned forward, voice dripping venom. Human, you sit here by the Empress's whim. Do not presume to lecture us on morality. Your kind exists because we allow it. I met his stare. I exist because I fought. And I'm still here. That should tell you something. Elise's voice cut through before Roth could reply. Jake Reed's veto applies to human matters. The camps will be phased out over the next cycle. Relocation to open colonies. Voluntary contracts only. Compensation for past labor, retroactive. The table erupted. Protests. Accusations of weakness. One admiral slammed his fist so hard a crystal goblet shattered. Elise raised one hand. Quiet returned, grudgingly. Any who disagree may resign their seats. Or test my patience further. No one resigned. But the glares intensified. After that first meeting, the knives came out quietly. Poison messages left in my quarters, subtle warnings in elegant script. Humans rise, empires fall. Servants who suddenly forgot to bring food. Council proposals I submitted vanishing from records, only to reappear altered. Lord Cain Roth was the architect. He never confronted me directly, too clever for that, but every setback bore his fingerprints. Elise noticed. She began summoning me to her private study after sessions. No guards. Just the two of us, star maps glowing on the walls, ancient texts stacked like silent witnesses. At first the conversations were policy, labor reforms, cultural recognition, human representation on local governors. But slowly they shifted. One night she asked, almost casually, "Do you ever sleep, Jake?" I gave a tired laugh. "When I can. You? She looked out at the city lights. Sleep is for those without an empire to carry. We sat in silence after that. Not awkward, just shared. Another evening, she poured 2 glasses of something amber and faintly luminous. Valanthi vintage, she said, from before the expansion wars. I took a sip. It burned clean, like starlight turned liquid. Why me? I asked finally. You could have chosen any advisor. Someone who would smile and agree. She swirled her glass. Because you won't. You'll tell me when I'm wrong. Even when it costs you. Even when it costs me. She paused. And because when I look at you, I see the girl who once knelt in that throne room, full of fire and certainty, before the crown crushed it out of her. Her voice dropped. I'm tired, Jake. Of pretending. Of being alone at the top of a pyramid built on bones. I set my glass down. You're not alone anymore. She looked at me then. Really looked. And something cracked in her golden eyes. Not weakness. Recognition. We didn't speak after that. We just sat. 2 exhausted warriors on opposite sides of a war that might finally be ending. Trust grew slowly. Painfully. Like scar tissue forming over old wounds. And every time Roth blocked a reform, every time a threat arrived in the night, Elise stood with me. Publicly. Defiantly. Even when whispers began calling her the human's puppet. Even when her own admirals started avoiding her gaze. She never wavered. And somewhere in those quiet nights, in the spaces between words, I began to understand that what we were building wasn't just policy. It was something far more dangerous. Something neither of our peoples had a name for yet. The first warning came disguised as a routine security brief. A junior aide, nervous, eyes darting, slid a data slate across my desk in the eastern wing. Lord Roth has been unusually active in the outer provinces, he whispered. Increased troop movements. Private comms encrypted beyond standard. I scanned the report. Supply convoys rerouted. 3 frontier garrisons reporting loyalty audits that looked suspiciously like purges of officers friendly to reform. I took the slate straight to Elise's private study. She was standing at the window, arms crossed, watching orbital traffic crawl across the night sky. Roth, I said without preamble. He's moving. She didn't turn. I know. You know? I've known for weeks. Her voice was flat, tired. He's been careful, subtle, but not subtle enough. She finally faced me, golden eyes shadowed. He's building a coalition, calling me corrupted, weakened, seduced by human sentiment. His words. He demands your head as the price of standing down. I felt the old battlefield chill settle in my bones. And your answer? I told him no. She gave a small, bitter smile. So he declared the eastern provinces independent this morning. 70,000 troops under his banner. 3 key shipyards. He's broadcasting to every channel. The empire falls unless the human is removed. Civil war. The word hung between us like smoke. I paced to the tactical holodeble. Lights flickered as I pulled up the deployments. Roth's forces were spread but defensible. Mountain strongholds, orbital batteries, supply lines dug deep into asteroid belts. He knows your playbook, I said. 40 years on your council. He'll anticipate every countermove. Elise nodded slowly. Then we don't play by the book. She activated a secondary layer, classified routes, black site outposts, shadow fleets I hadn't even known existed. But the more I studied the map, the clearer it became. Roth wasn't just rebelling. He was baiting her. Every feint, every fortified position screamed, "Come and get me. Bring your precious human." End this personally. And then I saw it. A single encrypted financial trail buried in the noise. Old, from 8 years back. Funds routed through shell companies on the rim. Destination, my first resistance cell. The one that bought our initial ships. The signature was unmistakable. Kane Roth. He'd funded me, not out of kindness, to fracture the empire from the inside, to create the chaos that would one day let him seize the throne. I stared at the data. He used me, I said quietly. All those years, I was his weapon. Elise came to stand beside me. Her shoulder brushed mine, deliberate. He underestimated you, she said. Just as he underestimates me now. She shut down the holodeble. We're not negotiating. We're not waiting for him to consolidate. We end this ourselves. I looked up at her. You mean, a strike team? Small, fast, through the old pre-expansion tunnels under the Draken Range, straight into the heart of his fortress. Her eyes met mine. And I'm coming with you. The council would lose their minds. The admirals would call it suicide. The empire would howl. But she wasn't asking permission. She was telling me we were doing this together. I exhaled. Then we do it right. No half measures. We go in quiet. We hit hard. And we finish what he started. She reached out, slowly, and rested her hand on my forearm. Not the formal gesture. Just touch. For a heartbeat, neither of us moved. Then she said, almost too soft to hear, "I won't lose you to him, Jake. Not after everything." I covered her hand with mine. "You won't." We spent the next 48 hours planning in secret. 15 operatives, her best shadows, my old resistance contacts smuggled aboard a stealth cutter. Weapons checked. Routes memorized. Contingencies layered like armor. And every night, when the palace slept, we sat together in her study. Not planning, just being. She told me stories of Zavaron before the wars, crystal forests that sang in the wind, children who played without fear of conscription. I told her about Earth before the first landings, blue skies, baseball games, my mother's laugh. We didn't promise forever. We just promised tomorrow. And when the hour came, we boarded the cutter in silence. Elise wore black infiltration armor. No crown, no insignia. Just a soldier. Beside me, heading into the mountain that would either save the Empire or bury us both. The cutter dropped us in the shadow of the Draken Range at 0300 local. No lights. No comms burst. Just 15 shadows sliding into the ancient tunnel network that predated even the Valanthi Empire. Elise moved like she'd trained for this her whole life. Silent steps, blade drawn low, eyes scanning every crack in the stone. I kept pace beside her, old instincts humming. The air smelled of damp rock and ozone from dormant power conduits. We lost 2 to automated sentries in the first kilometer. Clean shots. No screams. Just bodies crumpling. 12 of us reached the inner fortress by hour 7. The command chamber was carved into the mountain's heart. High vaulted ceiling, tactical holos floating like ghosts, violet emergency lighting casting long shadows. Kane Roth stood at the center, calm as stone, surrounded by a dozen elite guards. He wore ceremonial black, no helmet, scars gleaming under the dim glow. "Your radiance," he said, voice smooth with mock surprise. "I did not expect you to come in person. How sentimental." Elise stepped forward, blade still sheathed. "It ends now, Kane. Surrender. Your followers will be shown mercy." He laughed, short, bitter. "Mercy? The same mercy you've shown the humans? Elevating them, granting them seats at your table? Turning our empire into a sanctuary for lesser species?" "The empire is changing," she said evenly. "With or without you. Then it changes without me." He raised his hand. "Kill them. Start with the human." The guards moved. I moved faster. 8 years of guerrilla war had sharpened me into something the Valanthi never expected. I dropped the first 2 before their blades cleared scabbards. Knife to throat, elbow to temple. Elise was beside me, not behind, beside, her own blade flashing in precise, lethal arcs. We fought back to back, a rhythm born of nights we'd never admitted to sharing. Our team fell around us, one by one, violet blood mixed with red on the ancient stone. And then there were 3. Me, Elise, Roth. He had a compact pistol leveled at her head. "Stay back, human," he snarled, "or I end your precious empress." I froze. His eyes flicked between us, disgust twisting his features. "That's what you are to her, isn't it? Pet project. Tool to mask her weakness." I looked at Elise. Her golden eyes met mine, steady, unafraid. And in that heartbeat, everything crystallized. "I'm not her pet," I said quietly. Roth sneered. "Then what are you?" I stepped forward. Slow, deliberate. "I'm the man who loves her." The words landed like a shockwave. Roth's pistol wavered, just a fraction. Elise moved. The shot went wild, scorching the ceiling. Her blade drove through his chest in one clean thrust. He gasped, eyes wide with something like betrayal. As he sank to his knees, blood bubbling at his lips, he looked up at her. "Aurora," he whispered. "I've known, all my life, it was the code to save the Empire from itself." His head lolled. He was gone. Silence crashed in. The remaining guards dropped their weapons. No fight left. Elise stood over the body, breathing hard, blade dripping. She looked at me. I looked at her. Neither of us spoke. We didn't need to. The fortress fell without another shot. Outside, Dawn was breaking over the Draken peaks, cold, pale light filtering through the haze. We walked out together, side by side, not empress and counselor, not ruler and rebel, just two people who had finally stopped pretending the war was only fought with weapons. The rebellion shattered like glass under a hammer. Within days, Roth's coalition fractured, commanders surrendered, fleets stood down, provinces sent messages of renewed loyalty. The Empire exhaled. I found Elise in the coronation hall at dawn. She stood alone before the throne, staring at the empty seat as if it still carried the weight of every decision she'd ever made. "It's over," I said quietly. "Yes." She didn't turn. "Roth is dead. His followers scattered. The Empire is secure." "Then why do you sound like you've lost something?" She was silent a long moment. "Because I have." Slowly she faced me. "You told him you loved me." "I did." "Did you mean it?" I stepped closer, close enough to see the faint tremor in her golden eyes. "Elise, I've spent 8 years fighting everything you represent. And the last few months, I've spent every night realizing I'd fight the galaxy itself to keep you safe." "Yes, I meant it." She exhaled, a sound almost like relief. "The Valanthi do not love the way humans do. We bond. We ally. We endure. But love, your kind of love, is taught as surrender. Weakness. Loss of control. Is that what you believe?" "It's what I was taught." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "It's what I told myself every time I looked at you and saw not an enemy, not a tool, just you." I reached out slowly. She didn't pull away. My hand found hers. Cool skin. Steady pulse. "I'm not asking you to surrender," I said. "I'm asking if you'll let me stand beside you. Not as counselor. Not as human representative. Just as the man who chooses you. All of you." Her eyes searched mine. "This will burn everything we've built. An empress with a human consort. The outrage. The protests. The threats. Then we build something new. For the first time." She smiled. "Real, unguarded, vulnerable. You are impossible, Jake Reed. I prefer determined." She laughed, soft, genuine, and the sound cracked something open inside me. Then she leaned down, and her lips met mine. Gentle, questioning. The first step into unknown stars. When we parted, she kept my hand in hers. "What now?" I asked. "Now we face the council. We announce it. We endure. And then we change the galaxy." She squeezed my hand. Then she told me the truth about Aurora. It was my sister's name. My younger sister. Killed by our mother to hide a perceived weakness in the bloodline. I carried that name as a vow to one day break the cycle. To save the Empire from itself. Her eyes met mine. "You gave me the strength to keep that vow." We stood before the throne, not to sit, but as equals. As the first lights spilled through the high windows, we began planning. Not conquest, not fear, but a future built on the impossible, terrifying, utterly human thing called love. And equality. From battlefield foe to throne ally, my defiance against the alien queen. Thank you for listening to this story to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Write in the comments what moment in this story impressed you the most. And also check out the other videos that just appeared on your screen. See you in the next video.